How do you overcome fear? This is something that I've been fascinated with, and in this video I'm going to share with you how I overcame my fear and jumped off a 108-meter bridge in Bali. So what I'm going to talk about today is going to be relatable to you, because I think at the core of everything in our life is a fear. Everyone fears something, whether it's abandonment, rejection, fear of losing friends, fear of not being enough, fear of not being good enough, fear of not being smart enough, pretty enough, sexy enough, or fear of not lasting long enough in bed, or whatever the fear is, right? There's fears that consume us. Fear of losing money. I know that's one I've had for a long time, and so there's lots of different fears that we have. And what I want to do in this video is just share one of my fears, of fear of falling, right? Like we all have a fear of falling and a fear of dying, right? And how bungee jump plays into that. So it's interesting because my client, my friend, he turned into he was my friend and he became my client, so we're client friends, right? He owns one of the biggest bungee jump companies in Asia, and actually he's branching out all over Asia, right? And one of his main businesses is in Japan. So I think he's got 8 or 9 different sites in Japan. And in 2019, me and my friend, we went over there to film, and we made some really cool story videos. And I did 15 jumps in 6 days, right? So the story was, I'm going to go do 6 jumps in 6 days. And I ended up doing 15 jumps in 6 days. And I've never done a bungee jump before in my life. And I thought that at that time, after those jumps, I would just be fearless in everything in my life. And my life would just go through the stratosphere. That's what I thought at the time. Because to do 15 jumps, the highest site at there was 106 meters, and I jumped backwards on that. And I'm like, if I can do that, I can do anything, right?
Yeah, not how it works.
It's crazy because what you're not aware of will rule your life, right? Like Carl Jung, he said, whatever is unconscious will rule your life, and you'll call it fate, right? If you don't take out what's in your unconscious, it will rule your life and you'll call it fate. So most people, we're not aware of what we're not aware of, right? You don't know what you don't know. And so we all have blind spots. It's funny, recently I was talking to one of these girls, a girl here in Bali, and the conversation, when I talked to her, it's just all one-sided. It's like all about her. And I think she asked me like 1 question or 2 questions in like 3-hour chat conversation. And that's a red flag, right? Because that just shows me that she's not aware, she's not self-aware enough to know that she's just so self-absorbed. And it takes one to know one, right? Like the reason I say that, because I could be self-absorbed sometimes too. One could argue that making these videos is self-absorbed. But the reason I'm sharing that is because we all have blind spots. Maybe she's not aware that she doesn't ask people questions and she's just all about herself. Like that's her blind spot, but she can't see that. That's not even in her vision, right? This is why coaching is so valuable. But anyway, I digress. So going back to the fear, most people are not aware, like I wasn't, of the fears that consume our life, because it's all subconscious, right? So everyone who I've asked to join bungee jump or said, hey, would you do bungee jump? They're like,
No, I would never do that. I love my life.
And so straight away, they're consciously aware of that fear, the fear of falling, which is great, right? But as I wasn't aware, I thought in 2019, I would do those jumps and then I wouldn't have any fear again. I'd just be so courageous and I'd do all the things I want to do, like my business, and just scale it to the moon. And I just wasn't aware that I had fears in my business, right? Like I had fears around, is the product going to be good, or am I going to get enough clients, or all these fears? Am I going to spend this money, and am I going to make a return on it? Like fear of losing money, right? Like spending money to get money back, and like deeper fears of, am I good enough? Am I good enough to ask this person? And also another thing was the asking, right? Not even being aware of that. I had an issue with asking for things, and that was getting in the way of me getting what I wanted. So even though I can jump off a bridge 15 times, I had an issue asking someone for something that was not even a bad thing to ask them for. Like it's not an entitlement thing. It's just like I provided value, now I'm asking for money, right? That's normal. But I had an issue with that, so I wasn't aware of where that was coming from, and it was the fear of asking for what I'm worth. And so that's a self-worth issue, right? And so there's so many layers to fear. And if we're just operating it like, oh, yeah, like, because you've done this, now you can do this and this and this and this. No, there's so many different types of fears in our life. And again, if we're not aware of these fears, then they're going to rule our life and we're going to call it fate. When really, it was just back in our subconscious mind and we weren't aware of it. And because we didn't get any help to help us extract that from our mind, now it's actually hurting our results in life. And this is why I'm so passionate about coaching, because I need an outside perspective to see what I'm not seeing. Because if life is not going well, this is what I learned recently. I just enrolled in another coaching program recently. And the guy said, if you're not succeeding at the level you want to succeed at in your life, that means there's something you don't know, because everything should be easy. And that's one of his beliefs that I'm learning to believe more and more, is everything should be easy. And, you know, when I first came on the scene, when I was 21 years old, made a bunch of money, everything was easy, right? And now things are becoming harder. I'm like, what's happening? But he said, when things become harder, and this is a belief system, because society brainwashes us to believe that everything should be hard, like we should suffer, suffer, suffer. And he's like, no, everything should be easy. Everything in nature just grows. Like the trees just grow. It's easy, it's effortless, right? We are part of nature as well. Like the river just flows, it's effortless. Right? So everything should be easy. And if it's not easy, that means there's something that's getting in the way and you're not aware of it. So what you need is not more tactics, you need more awareness. What don't I see? Right? And that's what he said to me. And I was like, huh. And he's like, you need to be asking that question, what don't I see? And that's where the value of coaching and someone else looking at your stuff comes into play, because they can see what you can't see. And for me, that's what I needed, right? Like I needed that. Like, what don't I see? What am I not seeing that's going to help me succeed and get to the next level of my life? Because there's something blocking me, but I don't know what it is because I can't see it. It's back there somewhere. I can't see it. Tell me what it is, and I can bring it to my face, and I'm like, oh, that's what it is. Okay, now let's work to get rid of that, right? Or work through this thing. But I can't see it when it's back here, right? I can only see what's in front of me. I can't see back here. So I need someone to tell me what's holding me back, what's stopping me. Right? And this is why people pay for coaches, because coaches can see, you can see that, I can't see what's there, you can see that. So that's what is so valuable. Like, I can't become a world-class boxer without a coach. Every single athlete, one of my friends, he coaches a lot of athletes, and he said the reason why athletes are great clients is because they understand the value of coaching. They understand this whole concept of blind spots and not knowing what they don't know. Like you think you know, you don't know what you don't know, but you think you know, right? And that's most people, which is why most people don't live an amazing life. And so getting coaching is one of the most valuable things, because if you have a fear right now in your life, we all have fears, right? But a lot of us are not aware of the fears that are blocking us from getting to the next level, and we go ahead and buy this course and that course, but really the problem is, hey, you have a fear and you're not even aware of what the actual problem is, so you're going to go and try and find solutions that are not going to solve this problem because you don't even know what the problem is, right? So first of all, it's getting the awareness on what is the actual issue, and then we can go from there, right? So the reason I say this is because one of the things that I'm passionate about is helping people get unstuck, right? For some reason, I'm better at helping others than I am myself at this, right? So, for example, your blind spots, I can see them very clearly. When you talk to me and you explain your situation, whatever problems you're having, right? Because as a coach, I know that the problem you present to me is not the real problem, right? So whatever you say to me, I know that there's something deeper there. There's an underlying fear that maybe you're not even aware of, right? And I'll help bring that to light when we get on the phone, and then you can go ahead and see it, and you're like,
Oh, fuck. That's what it was.
and you're not even aware of it because it wasn't in your awareness, because it's like, what don't I see, right? Because if it wasn't your awareness, you'd be doing something about it, and it wouldn't even be an issue, right? So whether it's an issue with your colleague at work, whether it's a relationship issue, doesn't matter what the problem is, right? Because see, the skill sets that I've been developing in the last 3 years since I've been in Bali is understanding at a deeper level what the actual problem is that people are presenting me with, because I had to do that for my coaching to help better understand my clients and help them out with whatever it is. So for example, emotional eating it's a big problem for people, right? Like, oh, I just can't stop eating, and people are not aware of why, right? Like I'm a geek on why. Okay, why is that happening, right? So whenever I eat food, I just can't stop. Okay, why? Most people don't even know why. They just think, oh, I don't know why. I just love food. I'm a foodie. See, that's the state of awareness. So, of course, if you just believe that you've got to go your whole life overeating and believing you're a foodie. There's nothing wrong with being a foodie, but that's not the real problem, right? So, have to go deeper, and oftentimes, I don't know what it is for you, if that's one of your issues that you struggle with in your life, but oftentimes, based on my experience working with clients, it's a deeper feeling of connecting love with food. So back in the day when they were a child, there was an event that happened in their life where they received love through food. So now, whenever they eat food, maybe it's a particular food, they just can't stop eating it because subconsciously their brain thinks that they're getting love every time they eat that food. So therefore they want more of it. They want more of that feeling of love, so they keep eating the food. Love and acceptance. So that's a core reason why a lot of people overeat. And it's something that I've learned through experience coaching clients, right? So again, as I say that to you, if that's something you struggle with, maybe that's giving you a light bulb moment in your mind, right? And that's only because that wasn't in your awareness before. It was there, but you couldn't see it, and now it's brought to the front of your mind. There's lots of other things like this, like, for example, attaching your self-worth to money. That's what I used to do, right? And I wasn't aware of why, or not asking for money. Wasn't aware of why I wasn't asking for money. And, you know, if you don't understand the core reasons, this is why people don't get results, because everyone wants to be seen, heard, and understood, right? And so I have to understand, well, everyone has to understand each other to really help someone. So for me, not asking for money stemmed back to when my father would shun these people at the door because these people would just try and sell us shit at the front door. I remember it, like, and then he'd be like, oh,
Who was that trying to sell you something? Are they? What are they selling today? What kind of crap are they selling?
And so the story I made up about that was, oh, it's not good to sell stuff, right? And then another thing was when asking for money, whenever I'd ask my parents for money, invariably a lot of times I'd ask my mum, and then she'd be like,
Ask your dad.
and then I'd ask my dad, and he'd be like,
What do you think I look like? The bank?
money doesn't grow on trees and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't even ask then, fuck's sake. And so I didn't ask for money, like, a lot, because that's where I learnt it. So as an adult, that shows up in the business. It's like,
Why are you not asking for what you're worth?
oh shit, because of that. Okay, now I know that. Now let's work to get past that and rewire my brain so that I know that selling is a good thing. Selling is serving people. And, you know, new beliefs, right? Having new beliefs. And then also asking for money is a great thing. So these are things that I've had to learn and master through working on myself and becoming more self-aware and working with a coach. Okay, so if you want me or one of my team members to help you with this and help you really get unstuck and see what you can't see, because again, what I said earlier, what don't I see? Because if something's hard, something's blocking you, and you're not sure what it is, there's something in the way, there's something that you're not seeing, you're not aware of this thing. Okay, so that's what I'm inviting you to do, is to get on a call with us, absolutely free, and we're going to talk you're going to talk most of the time, we're going to ask some questions, take you through my fear process tool that I have, and we're going to get you clear on what it is that you're actually scared of. Okay, and get you clear on what's going to happen if you don't take action, what's going to happen if you take action, and then help you realize that actually this is a fear that you can overcome and give you the confidence and tools to actually overcome the fear. Okay, so if that sounds something like you want to do, go ahead and click the link below this video and you can go ahead and book a call with us, and then we can get on the phone and talk about that and help you out, because that's ultimately what we're here to do, all right? So this is a new thing I'm doing because I actually just want to help, right? Like, I just want to get inside your mind and help you move forward, because I can see what you can't. Same like you can see what I can't, right? If you're a trained coach, you can see what I can't, right? And so, yeah, that's how it goes. And click the link below this video if you want to get access to that. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. My name is Aaron. I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe. Talk to you soon.